You're back. Okay, welcome to the third segment of this third conference on bilingual education. My name is Jessica Urra. I am a game-based learning specialist as well as a very young learners teacher trainer from Asociación Chilena de Neuroaprendizaje, ACHNAP. I will be conducting this presentation, and before the introduction of our next speaker, I would like to remind you that it's mandatory to rename yourself in order to check your attendance, please. Change your name to first and last names as you registered for this conference. As a webinar attendee, you can submit questions to panelists in the Q&A section that you have there in your Zoom window. Now, I'm going to introduce to our speaker. She is MariaFranciscaKelly from Chile. Hello, Maria Francisca. She is already there. Let me tell you that Maria Francisca is an English teacher with more than 10 years of experience. She has lived in several countries like the United States and Singapore. She has an MA in linguistics, as well that she is an educational consultant for the private and state sector. She is a collaborator for the SEDUC schools in Chile. She has been a teacher training and a certified coach in positive discipline for several years. At present, she is the co-director of the Diploma in Teaching English to Very Young Learners, and she is the founding director and the main writer of BUKKU Education. She is the author of more than 20 readers for children, specially designed in English for the Latin American audience. Also, she is the director of the new program called Certificación en Educación Positiva, starting at the end of this month. I'm going to leave the link to this information in the chat box, all right? The name of her presentation today is Building Students' Autonomy with Positive Education. Positive education, which combines traditional education principles with research-based ways of increasing happiness and well-being, has become an excellent option to consider when teachers need to fuel their pupils' curiosity and help them find their passions, develop independence, and challenge themselves to become more expansive learners. Francisca will introduce some useful strategies adapted to ESL learning contexts. So Francisca, welcome. The stage is all yours. Thank you very much, and see you in the questions and answers section.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you so much, Jessica Urra, for this presentation. And thank you, everybody, for being here. It's such an honor, such a pleasure to share this next hour with everybody, talking about one of the most wonderful things in the world, education, right? And even better, education in English. So I'm going to start sharing my screen because I have some surprises to show you here. And as you know already, the title of this talk with me is Building Students' Autonomy. What does this mean, really? Why do I want to do that? Do I want to do that? Let's think of all those times when we are in class, we are with our students, and we feel that having 30 students in front of us, all of them with their hands raised, asking questions, and you feel like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can deal with all of them at the same time. Teacher, Miss, how can I say, and they ask for a word, how can I say this other word? And then you feel, am I a walking dictionary? So there are many instances during our lessons in which we might feel so tired, a bit stressed out, because there is little autonomy and my students need me most of the time to do their tasks. So I'm going to help you. Hopefully, I'm going to help you with some practical ideas that you can put into practice right on Monday, so we can start building our students' autonomy, and all of this, of course, hand in hand with positive education. all right? Of course, we have to define what these concepts are, right? So we're going to start with that. And then after a little bit of this theory, a bit of background, right? We're going to start with this marvelous present. 15 strategies to build our students' autonomy right on Monday. Things that you can start even today in the afternoon if you wanted to, okay? So that's going to be the main part of today's presentation, 15 strategies. All right, everybody. So as I mentioned, we have to define what this is before we start, right? So what's autonomy? If we just take a definition from the dictionary, we would see that autonomy is defined as the state of existing or acting separately from others. So we want our students to act sometimes separately from us, so they don't need us all the time to do everything, right? And this could be translated, if we had to choose one word, into independence, right? Independence from my students. Now, what is positive education? What does this autonomy have to do with positive education? So here is a definition of what positive education is from the BUKKU Education's perspective, okay? So, updated studies on psychology and neuroscience that are applied to education. This type of education motivates students to look for their well-being and the well-being of everything that's around us. Isn't this beautiful? Isn't this dreamy, right? We promote respect to all human beings and their processes. So if one student is not speaking English yet, guess what? We respect that. And we're going to see how little by little we can start building this autonomy in a context of positive education. So I wanted to start with this idea that I got after reading The Gift of Failure by Jessica Lahey. I recommend it. As the title says, right? The gift of failure. How many positive things can I get from failing? Many. I can learn different lessons, right? So let's think of this first bubble I have right here, overprotectiveness. So let's make it concrete right away with an example. We have right there in parentheses, deliver forgotten assignments. So I'm a teacher, I'm in class, and my student, one of my students, most of the time forgets his homework, forgets his lunch, forgets his materials to bring to school. And around 9:30, 10 a.m., the mother comes to the school and the mother delivers the forgotten assignment, and the mother delivers the forgotten materials, and the mother delivers the forgotten homework. That's the context. What happens with that? We are not really giving the child the opportunity to experience failure, right? Because mommy is always there having their back, right? So you don't fail, so you don't, so that's what's going on. And then actually, we're not giving the child the opportunity to solve problems on their own. And so this undermines autonomy, competence, motivation, and relationships with adults. It's true that we should be there for our students. We have to be there for them. But being there for them, having their backs, does not mean solving everything for them. Because if not, we become slaves. We don't have time for anything else than being there when they are doing their homework, being there present for everything, because they are used to having the adult near, right? But we're not giving them the gift of failure, the gift of, oh my gosh, I forgot my homework and I really, really need it. What can I do about it? Having them think, having them become creative, become with an answer on their own, not just mommy all the time giving the solutions, right? Now, something else that is important in terms of this theoretical background, before we move on to the 15 strategies, is this model, sorry, my tongue, is this model called the gradual release of responsibility. What does this mean? It means at the beginning, March, we are there. We receive a new lesson, a new class, new students. March, first day of school with my students in front of me. Okay, it's fine if during March or during the first weeks, or maybe with the little ones during the first months, I am their model and I am there for them in every little step of the way of their learning process. It's fine. But little by little, April, May, June, July, August, September, my modeling has to go down. My responsibility lowers because students' responsibility gets higher. It increases, right? So here we have this, these two triangles which show the model, right? And these 4 steps. The first step, me, I, as a teacher, I am the model. Focused instruction, I do it. So I show them how to write. I show them how to write. All right. When I see that they have received this model, I can move on to the second part of the model, right? Okay, I'm just going to be a guide. We do it together, everybody. I am continued to be here. I continue to be here. I continue to do it with you, but now it's not only me. Now the whole class or this whole group, right? We do it together. Now let's all write together. When I observe they are ready to move on to the third step, we move on to the third step, collaborative work. Now you guys do it together. I'm going to be here. I can observe you, but I already showed you how to do this. We've done it together. Now, please, you do it collaboratively in a group. I'm here. I can watch. And teacher is only a resource, right? If they need anything, you're there. Miss, I have a question. Yes, I'm here. I have a doubt. Yes, I'm here from the outside. And when they're ready, we can move on to the last one, where the responsibility is totally in the side of the students, right? So this is when we reach independence. And now children, students, do the task by themselves, not in a group, not with the help of the teacher, by themselves, individual work. So we have teacher as a model, teacher as a guide, teacher as a resource, and then teacher as only the observer. The child, the student, or the teenager, right, is already ready to do the task in his or her own. This is another way, another graphic way of showing you how this gradual release of responsibility could look like, okay? So first, step 1, the teacher, I do the task. I model it, I show it to you, I'm clear about it. So you have no doubt how to work next. Second step, we do it all together. Teacher and group of students, we do it all together. Step 3, now you do it together as a group, but you do it together. I'm already as an outsider. And finally, the student does the work by him or herself, all right? This model is very famous around the globe, right? And it's an amazing way that we promote, in which you can little by little let students have more responsibility and start building autonomy, so you don't have to be there 100% of the time during class, and they can be actually working on their own, all right? Now, what are some teachers' resources? Hey, Kika, because although my name is María Francisca, which sounds very formal, my nickname is Kika and everybody calls me Kika. So then you could say, okay, Kika, where can I get more information? But where can I get more free information, huh? So I have some surprises. If you have Pinterest, you can just go on Pinterest, go look for BUKKU Education, which is the name of my company, and you will have many folders with different information about positive education, positive discipline, the PDA, building autonomy, autonomy in reading. So you can get all these free resources that are already organized in the folders on Pinterest under the name of BUKKU Education. And also something very modern that has been a hit is the podcast on positive education. So whenever you are in the move, maybe you're in the bus, maybe you're driving, you're in the car, you're cooking in the kitchen, you're getting dressed after the shower, you can just press play and listen to the podcasts in Spanish on positive education. They are available, of course, for free, no charge at all, on Spotify and also on Apple Podcasts. So you have these two options, whatever you feel more comfortable with. You can just look for Educación Positiva by BUKKU Education and listen to these podcasts. So you can, little by little, every week, you can maybe listen to one podcast at the beginning of every week or during the weekend, however, and you can start putting into practice this positive education and building autonomy in your students. And also the people here who are parents with your children. And people here who are who have colleagues. This is like a way of living, right? A way of living. So with your family, with your friends, colleagues, etc. And hey, this is something that Jessica Urra mentioned at the beginning. So just for you to know, at the end of this month, we start with the certification on positive education in Spanish with this registered model that is designed especially for Latin American students, right? So yes, there are many amazing things happening in Australia, amazing things happening with positive education in the United States. And this is the one that is registered for Latin America. So if you want more information, there's the email. You can also just follow BUKKU Education or Asociación Chilena de Neuroaprendizaje on social media. You will get the information there. And it's time, everybody. We have had this general theoretical framework, and we can start with the 15 strategies. Woo! Get ready, get your notes ready. Number 1, taking the time. Taking the time? You may believe this if you already started with a bit of positive education. You may know what I'm talking about. As a teacher, we need to start taking the time in our lessons, planning this time in our lessons, so my students can work things out or actually work on their own. Kika, of course I do that all the time. They read by themselves. They sometimes write by themselves. I do that already. Are you sure that you are giving them all the time they need so they can be autonomous? Let's see. I'm going to just start with this example, right? How can we make this theory more practical? What am I really talking about? So here I have an example of a toddler, a little boy, right? Probably he's like 2 years old. And this strategy is called arm flip. And of course, it's a strategy for little children, but it will help you realize, this is what she means, right? Okay, this is what she means. Even though the example is for little children, how can I make this also appropriate for older students, for teenagers? So take a look at this video, where the idea is that even though I can help this child put his jacket on very fast, so we can go out faster to recess. Come on, let's just put it on. Give me one arm, the other arm, zip it up. Okay, off you go. Let's go to recess. That would be very fast, but we want to build autonomy. We want our students to feel that they can do things by themselves. So I have to plan that time, and it's not only a minute, because they take more than that. So that's what I mean when we have to plan the time for students to do things on their own. Look at this cute little video.
Welcome to this quick training on teaching a preschool child to put on their own jacket. It's incredibly important for preschoolers to learn self-help and independence. So this is a great way for you, if you have a preschool class of children or if you have a preschool at home, to learn to put their jacket on. First of all, you want to place their jacket on the floor and you want to make sure it's upside down, and then we're going to use the arm flip method. So you can see here, that's it, arm in and flip it over your head. Takes a few goes if they're learning. There you go. And we're going to show you it again, except this time round, the jacket's going to fall off. Yes, good job. And he's going to.
All right. So you see, it wasn't that fast. At the beginning, he put his hands inside. He tried to flip. Then he got it all over his head. Then he tried to flip again. And what was his feeling? Even he was celebrating, going, yay, I could do something that was so difficult by myself. And this wasn't luck. It wasn't just that the jacket was on the floor and the boy decided to put the hands in and flip it. There was a planning of time, and there was a planning of process, right? From the teacher, from the mother in this case, okay? Strategy number 2. Believe in your students. This is something that is mentioned a lot in positive education, because many times you hear new parents saying, oh my gosh, children are so intelligent. Oh my gosh, did you hear that answer? That was very smart. And that's because we think that because they are younger, they're not smart enough. But they have amazing, beautiful brains working, right? And we have to believe that they are able to do stuff, right? So some ideas on how we can bring this energy of, hey, students, I believe in you, is, for example, this one that I got from an amazing teacher. It was an idea that I didn't invent it. I got it from a teacher. And it was the English power magic. So this teacher got one of these containers. She had just water in it, and she got to her class and she said, hey, everybody, in this container, I have some magic power that is going to spread on your heads, spread in the environment of the classroom. And this is going to make you understand more English. Because you know how sometimes you say, hi, teacher, I don't understand what you're saying. I don't understand what you're saying. Well, you know what? This will help you. Preschool students, elementary school students, even 5th graders, 6th graders are already pre-teens. They're going to be like, this is so stupid. Still, it's going to be something funny. Even if they don't believe it, okay, it's funny. You're showing them, you're making this idea concrete in the sense that, you know what? I believe you can understand English. I believe I can talk in English during the entire class, and we will be able to understand each other. I will use my facial expressions. I will use my body language as much as I can, but I believe in you. You can do it. Maybe it will take us longer. Maybe I have to explain this 3 times, but I believe you can do it, right? So showing them that you believe is what gets them to believe in them, right? Number 3, problem solving. Involving students in problem solving is key. Settling even for awkward silence. When you say, okay, everybody, so we have this problem in this class. What do you think we should do? And there's just this silence. It's awkward. It's starting to get awkward. Nobody has ideas. Nobody raises their hands. You settle for it. Okay, so there are no ideas today. Maybe you can think about it. I'll come back tomorrow with this idea, right? So come back if necessary, but also start letting them know that you trust them, that we believe in them. So it's not only me as the adult thinking of how we can solve problems, but asking them, right? And I'm going to tell you a very short story about this regarding problem solving. There was a teacher I used to work with. She had a 2nd grade, and during recess time in 2nd grade, many things disappeared. Snacks disappeared, pencil cases and stuff from backpacks disappeared. It was evident that some students were stealing from each other. So the teacher got them sitting in a circle and said, okay, everybody, we have a problem. Many things are disappearing from people's backpacks, from people's pencil cases. This is a real problem. This is serious, guys. This is something that we have to solve. And we need to think together. How are we going to solve it? So are there any ideas? A girl said, yes, if we find the person who is stealing, that person has to be kicked out of the school, right? Children come with these like horrible plans, right? Very, very strict. Okay, that might be too much because maybe this person can improve. Maybe this person can learn. But okay, we accept that, right? Because we are accepting all ideas. What other ideas do you have? I think, says another girl, I think that if you want to use something and it's not yours, you have to ask. Excellent idea. What other ideas do you have? So we gather the whole class and we brainstorm with them. Okay, we get ideas. And what do? We listen, actively listen to those ideas, and we take their ideas into consideration. Not only, okay, your ideas were lovely, but now we will do what the teacher said. We have to let them know that their ideas were so good, we're going to try them out. So we say, okay, you know what? We're going to combine this idea from this student, this idea from this student. Everybody, these ideas were amazing, very creative. Thank you so much. Let's put them into practice. So when it's not only the teacher's ideas, when it's the own students' ideas, there is an internal development of more motivation to do the tasks. So what did this teacher do? She got this pink flash drive because it was a school only for girls and the girls loved pink. And she said, you know what, this flash drive is going to be so attractive for my students. I'm going to bring it and I'm going to tell them I'm going to leave it on my desk. So I make sure that they start working on not taking things from other people. So, hey, everybody, here's this new flash drive. Look, it's pink. I bought it for myself. Wow, it's beautiful. Teacher, it's beautiful. Yes, it's beautiful. This pink flash drive is mine, and I'm going to keep it right here on my desk. Okay, so everybody knows? All right. Some days passed, recess times, lunch times, and the flash drive was there. She started asking, hey, students, have you seen an improvement in the way we were losing stuff? Yes, teacher, remember, like most of the times some people took out my snacks. Well, not anymore. So in this case, after many weeks, everybody, this was really hard. This teacher asked for our help as external help. She really didn't know what to do. I'm telling you now, like it happened fast, but it was many weeks, about 4-6 weeks, working with the girls, talking with the girls, making sure that ideas were perceived in a very important way from the teacher that came from students. And finally, she got her students not to steal anymore. So yes, it takes time, but hey, good things take time. Education takes time. The development of values and social emotional intelligence takes time. So we have to be patient with ourselves as well, right? Number 4, strategy number 4. How can we build autonomy in reading? So one amazing way for elementary and for maybe middle school as well is that if you have a classroom library, or if you take your students to the library so they can read a little bit of English, right? They shouldn't be asking you all the time, teacher, is this good for me? Should I read this one? Am I going to enjoy this book? Am I going to understand this book? Because you can't be there for the 35 students that you have in front of you, right? I visited classes with 45 students, right? So we can't be there for the 45 to help them choose. So we have to find ways, how can I make this autonomous? And there's a very well-known called 5-finger rule for choosing books. So students go to the English corner, they choose a book and they open it at any page. And each time you find a word you don't understand, you just put one finger up, right? You just do a quick scan, and you put some fingers up. And you explain to the children, and you have this 5-finger rule poster stuck on the wall. If there are 0 or 1 words you didn't understand, that book might be too easy for you. If you want to read it because you really are interested in the topic, that's fine, but it's going to be too easy for you. If you find 2 or 3 words you don't understand, it's just right, because it's fine if there are words you don't understand. We will see together, right, with reading comprehension strategies, how can we little by little start understanding and decoding the meaning of some vocabulary words we don't know. If you find 4 words that you don't understand, you can give it a try. It could be too difficult for you, but you can give it a try. If you find 5 words you don't understand, it's probably too hard and you won't have a good time reading because you won't understand that much. So when you explain this, when you read it together, you model it, then you choose together, and we do this gradual release of responsibility. And then you have the poster of the 5-finger rule on the wall next to the reading corner. And one student comes and says, "Teacher, do you think this book is okay for me?" Go read the poster, please. So of course we want to help them all the time, but we also have to show them when they can be autonomous, right? So it's not your job to decide. Now they are able to decide by themselves, right? And we can do this 5-finger rule with many other things in the classroom. Teachers, we are like one of the most creative species on earth, right? So we would find out how, in what other ways I can have these posters where children can just follow, or teenagers can just follow, for example, routines. 14, 15, 16 years old. "Teacher, I already finished. I don't know what to do." Huh? How come? Look, go to the poster. So in the poster, you can see there's a routine. When you finish this, you can do this or that, and you have options, right? So they don't need you all the time because you have taught them to be autonomous with these visual aids you have in class. Strategy number 5, rubric co-designing. How amazing it would be, okay, group, for example, with teenagers, group, we're going to get together. We have to build this website, right? We're going to do it together. What do you think the rubric has to have? How do you think it should be written? How important is it to include color? How important is it to focus on editing? So talking with our own students, how the assessment will be is pure magic. They will be involved in the whole process, and there will be, of course, if they have voice, more intrinsic motivation to do the tasks. Number 6, open questions for students. The questions in red are the ones that we don't recommend. The questions in green are the ones we recommend. So instead of saying, "Hey, Juanito, you need a ruler," this is better. "Hey, Juanito, what do you need for this activity?" We let them think. We let them decide, right? Instead of saying, "Okay, no, girls, if you want to go outside, it's cold. Please put a jacket on." You're always telling them what to do. And children and teenagers are sick of adults telling them what to do. So instead, we engage their brains with a question. "Hey, girls, what do you need to be warm outside?" "Ah, that's true. We need our jackets or our scarves or whatever," right? So having this difference in vocabulary, in the ways we ask questions instead of giving instructions, is pure magic. Try it. We're going to send the presentation so you have all these details. You don't have to write them down, okay? Number 7, the difference between motivating versus praising. We have in the first picture this person, this adult that is making eye contact with the child, has lowered her position to talk to the child, is accompanying the child so the child can ride her bike. On the other picture, we have this boy with a crown, a boy with a medal sitting on a throne with mommy and daddy, or maybe some teachers giving them trophies and telling him how amazing he is. we have to be very careful with how we speak to our students so we motivate them to do things on their own. So we're going to do a practical exercise. I'm going to read these phrases to you, which are focused on praising you, on telling you that you're amazing. Okay, I'm going to be your teacher. You're going to be my student. Please just listen to me as if you were a student and think, reflect on how you feel when I read these phrases to you. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I'm proud of you. You are so smart. Wow, your drawing is beautiful. You did it just as I told you. That's my girl, or that's my boy. You always know the right answer. I like how you defended yourself. You are better than the rest. Wow, I'm impressed. Okay, so some people maybe felt, ooh, I feel good. I like this teacher. Some people maybe felt, ooh, I felt good, but this put a little bit too much pressure on me, right? I'm going to show you the exact same content, but said in a way that promotes motivation, intrinsic motivation to do better. Watch this. I'm going to be your teacher again. You're my students. Role play. 1, 2, 3. Look at what you did. You must be proud of yourself. Look at everything you have learned in this time. Can you tell me about your drawing? Thank you for cooperating. It was very helpful. You solved it. It took courage to defend yourself that way. You can decide that. I trust your judgment. So something so simple as the first sentence, something that we say every day, and we say it because we're motivated by love, and it's because we were told that. So it's fine that we have done it so far. But when we say, I'm proud of you, I'm telling the child that I am the judge. I know when you have done good, and so you need me to decide when things are good or bad, right? But in this second example, when I say, hey, you must be proud of yourself. Wow, I give you all the responsibility, right? You must be happy, proud about what you did. So what's the big deal about this way of speaking? The thing is that we're going to build this self-esteem. And when these children are adults and they present to their bosses, hopefully they go, oof, I finished my presentation to my boss. You know what? I felt good about it. I think I did well. Instead of, oh my gosh, I don't know how I did. I need to speak to my boss. Maybe she tells me it was good. Maybe she tells me it was bad. I don't know what she thinks. Maybe will she fire me? Right? So we need to build this self-trust in our students so we don't need the adult's judgment or the authority's judgment all the time, and we start feeling well for the things we do, right? Number 8, time management. Many schools are already using the sand clock. Many schools are also using the timers and these visual timers, right, that we find online. Amazing. So children and teens start getting to be more autonomous with the use of their time. Another way of building autonomy is when we give the power to students to actually choose when we ask them how they learn best. Hey, so how did you learn best? We had many different experiences. Which one was the best one for you? Physically and cognitively. So let's say a student said, oh, I learned very well when I was sitting down. But then another one learned best when he was moving because he needed to move more. And another one learned best when he was talking to a partner. And another one learned best when she was reading to herself. So getting to know our students and them getting to know how best they learn gives them autonomy to do the tasks in different ways that maybe they want to. And this has a lot to do with inclusion, right? Number 10, letting our students try. Let's consider the time and effort for letting our students be active in our lessons. Let them touch, let them speak, let them move, let them choose, let them express themselves, let them have fun. The other day, last week, I was visiting a class, and there was a question from the teacher, right? So the teacher said, okay, everybody, so what type of food is this? And one student said, ooh, I love spaghetti. I like spaghetti. And the teacher said, we're not talking about likes and dislikes. I just asked what the food is. Oof. That child just wanted to express himself, and he was cut, right? So as English teachers, we have to accept what they bring us. Oh yeah, Kika, but they speak in Spanish. It doesn't matter. I accept Spanish. I model in English. So I say, okay, everybody, so how was your weekend? Teacher, fue bacán mi fin de semana. Your weekend was cool? Your weekend was fine? I'm so glad. I accept Spanish and I model in English. So I'm a good English teacher because I'm modeling English, but I accept Spanish from my students because sometimes it's very difficult for our students in Chile to start producing in English. They need this help, okay? And with this strategy, we can help them out. Number 11, welcoming mistakes. So how do we do this? Number 1, we don't punish mistakes. Number 2, we model the process of when we make mistakes, how we verbalize the steps. So we go, all right, everybody, so I got here my 4th grade book. Oh my gosh, I got 4A and you guys are 4th B. Why did I make this mistake? I wasn't really concentrating because when I went to the teacher's room, and I can verbalize everything. I can verbalize, okay, I am aware there's a mistake. Why did it happen? And what am I going to do so I don't make this mistake again? So I am even teaching them, showing them how I can learn from failure, how I can learn from mistakes. All right. Number 12. Sentence frames. This is amazing when it comes to oral production. Something that is, I guess, one of the most difficult things for us as English teachers is to get our students to speak, right? Right? So sentence frames help in a magnificent way. Whatever it is that you want your students to express, you just bring the sentence frame. You can write it with them or you can bring it ready. You can show it to them. We read it together. Then I read it first. We read it together. Then they read it by themselves and then individually, right? As we saw at the beginning. And they just have to fill in little words or little phrases according to what they want to express. But they have the general idea, the general structure with sentence frames. Number 13, the importance of learning about feelings, recognizing feelings so we can manage them. And what does feelings have to do with this? Well, positive education gives us the amazing reminder that we are human beings and we are not only brains receiving information and content. We have feelings, and these feelings play a super important role when we are learning. Because if we like the teacher, if we feel safe, if we feel it's a fun environment, I'm going to learn so much. If not, if I'm not sure how I'm feeling, why do I feel this, my heart going like this? Why when the teacher speaks in English, I feel weird? What? So I need to help my students with their social, emotional education. And of course, The Colors Are Gone is an amazing book I recommend. It's from the publishing BUKKU Education. So we can concretely show our students what are feelings, how do they feel like, and we can have amazing connection in the final questionnaire that is included in the book. Number 14, of course, conscious breathing. When we start learning about social emotional education and learning about feelings, conscious breathing is a must, right? It's one of the most famous, best ways to regulate ourselves, right? So when we are teaching younger children or even teenagers, so they can get the idea of what conscious breathing would be to calm down, and so they can be more autonomous in regulating themselves, is, for example, having one cardboard on one side with a flower, on the other side with a candle. You can draw it, they can just print these picture, and we tell them, okay, everybody, let's smell the flower. And now let's blow the candle. Let's smell the flower again. And now let's blow the candle. Concrete way of showing them what is expected from them when breathing consciously. And then we have the typical one, the birthday cake. So we have this huge birthday cake. It has so many candles, everybody. We need to blow them. So let's go. There are more candles. Let's go. All right, this already helped. We feel a bit better, right? So we can build autonomy in regulating themselves. Finally, number 15. Yes?
Yeah, we have 5 more minutes left.
Thank you so much, Jessie. Here we have the final one, mindfulness. Why mindfulness? Mindfulness tells us, hey, if we get our senses into action, if we make our brain feel that we are here and now, and this is me, and I can feel my body, and I can feel where I am, the brain is going to go to a regulated state in a faster way, right? So when we have students that are not regulated, we can tell them, okay, let's use our senses. How can we tell them that? Of course, before that, we teach them, for example, okay, put your hand like this, put your other hand like this, and let's feel the fingertips. Move them like this, back and forth, or up and down, and feel the fingertips. Concentrate on that. When we focus on one sense, the same part of the brain that is in charge of calming down is the one that is in charge of receiving the information from the senses. So it's easier to calm down. That's why they are so famous, these bottles with glitter inside that you shake them and then you have to look for them. And they're called like the calm jar, because we have to focus our senses, sight, hearing, music or sounds or whatever. Tasting, drinking water helps also to calm down, smelling different smells and touching different textures. So if we teach our students this, they can self-regulate with a couple of weeks of training, right? And of course, the typical just count to 10. And this is for us, everybody. Teaching is stressful. So whenever we are feeling, I'm a bit, I really want to scream right now. Let's count to 10. Before saying anything, we will regret later. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. All right. I have calmed a bit and I talk to my students again. So everybody, these were the 15 strategies for building autonomy in a context of positive education. As I said, everybody calls me Kika. My nickname is Kika. Here is my email address. In case you have any questions, you want anything, please write to me. Here is also the Instagram account. I am very, very active on Instagram. So you can follow BUKKU Education on Instagram for anything you need. Tips on pronunciation, tips on positive education. And there's also the webpage. It was a real pleasure. And now I let Jessie with the questions.
Thank you very much, Kika. Well, I know your work, all of us. Okay, we are really glad to have you here. And now it's time for questions and answers. So please, all the ones that want to leave a question, now is the time. And we have several questions, Kika. For example, the first one that I'm going to read is from Temuco, Ana Pino. She says, she's asking, what happens if students decide they need 30 minutes to write something short? Should I let them use half of the class for that?
I love this question, Ana Pino. Excellent question. Excellent question. The answer is, of course, not, right? But how do we do this? How am I telling them that they can choose if they choose 30 minutes and I say no, right? So there is something in positive education called limited choices. So we can say at the beginning, because at the beginning they will say, we need an hour, we need 30 minutes. So at the beginning we say, okay, everybody, for this task, you would need a maximum of 10 minutes, but you're already fast enough. Maybe you need 5, maybe you need less. Could you tell me how many minutes do you think you need? So you give them limits. You already said, hey, no way more than 10, but maybe you need 5, maybe you need 4, 6, 7, whatever. So we start with these limited choices so they feel the power they can choose, but it doesn't mean that they can choose something that is ridiculous, right? And at the beginning, this will happen. They will try to choose maybe some things that will not be the best for them or for the class, but little by little, they will be more in charge of being more conscious in what they choose.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. I have another question here. It has no name, but the question is, how can we encourage parents or tutors to be involved in their children's process to get more autonomy?
Oh, you know what? This is a beautiful question. We have to make sure that the adults involved in the educational process of our students want to be involved, right? And if we have this love for educating, and we have also this love for our students, I mean, for our children at schools, I believe that the school can be able to ask for this responsibility and this involvement, right? There are many schools that are having, for example, positive education talks for the parents, because they want the parents also to help the school in this process of building autonomy. So it's just a question of, do I want to do it? If I want the best for my students, I will be able to put these strategies into practice, right? Or read more about positive education, or put into practice this model of gradual release of responsibility. It's a thing of motivation. And when teachers are tired, and it's obvious that we are tired because it's very stressful to be teaching, right? When we are tired, I think the motivation is, hey, you chose to be a teacher because you love this. Yes, we are tired, but remember why we're here, because we love these children, because we want to give them a better opportunity, right? And so when we go back to this essence, I think there is an intrinsic motivation to, okay, let's do this the best way. Let's include positive education, right? I think it's just a thing of also motivating each other as adults.
All right, thank you very much. Now, Pamela Rosell just wants to know if the certification program that you mentioned, it is certified by the Positive Discipline Association or SENSE. Probably she requests more information about that.
Of course. Yes, we have SENSE for it, but it is not the Positive Discipline Association, okay? This is not positive discipline, this is positive education. Why? Because we take into consideration the Positive Discipline Association in the United States, the Institute of Positive Education in Australia, conscious discipline. We take the theoretical framework from everything that exists around the world, and we registered this model with everything worldwide for Latin American positive education, okay? So it has nothing to do with the PDA in the United States.
All right, let's move on. Here, I have no questions, but really nice comments. So I would like to read these comments. For example, Tamara Enriquez says, thank you, Kika. It is always a pleasure to listening and learn with you, learning from you. The English Power Magic Spray was mine. This year added glitter and it was a 10.
Amazing that Tamara was here. Tamara is the owner of that idea. Remember, I said that a teacher shared it with me. Thank you so much, Tamara, for inspiring so many teachers.
Fantastic. Another comment is from Paula Messias. Excellent presentation. Thanks for sharing all these wonderful tips. The best so far. I am so motivated and inspired. I can't wait to apply some of these strategies with my second graders.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Paula Messias.
Okay, I have another one from Jennifer Valenzuela. Only a comment. Thank you so much for your energy, Kika.
Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad. Well, I love education, so I am so motivated about it, right?
Yes, of course. Susana says, Susana Cabalin. Thanks, Kika, for those strategies. You are amazing.
Oh, thank you so much, everybody.
I have another one. Camila Ruiz Villarroel says, you are the best, Kika. So much fun to learn from you.
Thank you so much, everybody.
And I have a final one from Temuco again, Ana Pino. She says, I also did not understand how to use the model or the structure you showed us at the beginning. Is this the model supposed to be used as a whole in every class? Or is it supposed to be used each section gradually throughout the year? I mean, the following sections, teacher-centered, modeling, together, group work, and independent work?
Excellent question, Ana Pino. This model is supposed to be used with whatever skill you want to develop. Sometimes little skills can be developed in one class. So you would use the entire model only in one class, right? Some other times there are skills that take much more time, maybe a couple of weeks, maybe a month. And the model would be applied during the entire month. Let's say during the first week, we, for example, during something that would take more time, a strategy regarding reading comprehension, let's say, making inferences, for example. So during the first week, let's say that during reading time, I read, I show them, and I say, hey, so it says Anna is going outside. Anna is putting on a jacket really fast. Did Anna feel cold? Yes. Does it say that Anna feels cold in the text? No, that was an inference. It's what my brain does, but it's not actually written in the text. I show them during the first week. Second week, we read together. Third week, they would do it on their own. So in the week number 4, they could be making inferences by themselves. So the answer is, it really depends on the skill that you are developing. Sometimes you could use the model in one class, sometimes maybe in many weeks, even a month.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. I have another comment here. Kelly Nadim, she says, I'm a teacher from Brazil. I loved your talk. Wow.
Hey, Kelly Najim, I lived in Brazil for 2 years. I speak Portuguese, so I would love to do something in Portuguese.
Amazing. And well, as well, all the comments that they are leaving in our chat box, okay, that you can see, probably all of you can see. We have one last one here from Montserrat Vargas. She says, thank you so much for your presentation. It was a pleasure to listen all the information, the types, okay, you gave us. Regards from Antofagasta, Northern Chile.
Thank you so much, Montserrat. Hello to Antofagasta.
All right, Kika, one final question. Could you please give us a word of advice or just a phrase that we could reflect on us after your presentation, probably, to leave us on a positive, I don't know, way of thinking as teachers?
Yes. I would really like to say, you know what? I love education. I love teaching English. I love English. But when I learned about positive education, when I discovered positive education, I thought, wow, this is amazing, because this is actually for everybody. No matter if they are learning English, they're learning German, they're in math, they're in science, this is for everybody. And this is a way in which we can educate that is actually only based in love. It's love. It's love shown with respect. It's love shown with respecting the different processes in my students. It's love of dedicating 1 week of modeling myself, then another week of doing it with the students, of another week. So it's just love made concrete in education. So I really wish to inspire more and more educators to get to know positive education so we can put it into practice. It's so doable to put it in, to integrate it to our English lessons. So I only wish to inspire more people with positive education, which we know it's only love in education.
Thank you so much, Kika. Well, and with that, we're finishing this presentation. Yes. So Francisca, Maria Francisca Kelly, Kika, for us, thank you very much. And with that, we are finishing this presentation. Thank you all for staying here. And remember that the next conference is a round of panels, that is going to start in 20 more minutes. So stay tuned and thank you again. Bye-bye, Kika.
Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you.